Hello. If you ever question yourself, what are my gifts? What is my purpose? What is my mission? Why am I here? This video is for you. I'm recording this video for all of you who are questioning their importance and importance of their very own light. So if you are finding yourself that you are comparing yourself to others, they know what they are doing, they are great, but I don't know. I am maybe feeling stuck or lost or unsure. Please keep watching this video and maybe subscribe to this channel, because this is the place where we as light workers, people who are working with energy and consciousness, are coming together to support each other on this journey and learn how important every single one of us is. So let's deep dive into the topic, how to embrace our gifts as a light worker and why your light is so important. I myself know and understand how difficult can this journey be, how lonely it can feel. And this is why I'm creating a community, a space where we can come together to learn that we are not alone at all. If you are watching this video, there is a big chance of feeling similar things, going through similar struggles or situations in your life, and that's okay, because we are all going through it. We all have our very own personal journey that has taken us to the point of awakening to our gifts, of or maybe initiations of our inner gifts and of our spiritual journey. So just a little snippet of my personal journey and my life, how it all started. I very early on felt always different and not part of the environment that I was in. Let's just say I always felt like the odd one, and I couldn't understand a lot of things in my life. I couldn't understand why people are acting and behaving certain way. I was always questioning, why are people so upset? What is all this thing about the money, and why are people doing things that they really don't like? But I also couldn't really connect at school with my classmates, because there were things that I was really questioning at the early age, and I could not understand, why would people hurt each other? Why would people be mean to each other? And so I found myself living almost like a double life. One part of me always wanted to really fit in and be with the cool guys and you know, the cool group, and the other part of me was really withdrawn, doing very different things, like going to healing circles, doing loads of different things like meditations, working out, mindfulness, and just completely different things in my teenage years. But I had to hide these two parts from each other. In one group, I couldn't say that I'm hanging out with the cool guys. I was a bartender in a nightclub. And in this group, I couldn't say, oh yeah, I'm going to sound healing, I'm going to healing circles and women's circles, and I'm doing all these different things. And so very often I found myself being in two different realities where I had to pretend that I fit in, but deep down I felt that's not true. And I wonder whether this resonates with you, that maybe you find yourself at home not being able to open up and talk about your gifts, your ideas, your visions, and what you feel and perceive. And then maybe you are finding it really difficult to connect to people who are like-minded and would like to connect on this deep level, but because you're not sharing it, because you're not talking about it, they can't really see you and they can't come to your life. So the very early part of my journey was I felt really lonely and I felt really different. So I was looking for ways how to find myself, and that's where my biggest initiation started. I believe, and I've been shown many times, that the things that are such a big struggle in our lives are the greatest gifts from our soul. So if you are going through a period of time that is really difficult or hard, or you feel like you have a struggle in a certain area of your life, that's the initiation of your inner gift. That is the initiation and awakening of a very different reality. So let's just take it as an example. One part of my life was always struggle with the money. So I would have 2 or 3 jobs. I would be going to uni, full-time uni. I actually finished it and I have a master's degree, which I don't really use, because during that time, it was my initiation of understanding that we didn't come here to work in jobs that we don't like, that are not fulfilling our sole purpose. And so when I was working 2-3 jobs on, like, you know, beside the uni, I actually had a massive burnout. I think I was 20 by then, and my body started to collapse, and I started to really feel it on every single level of my being, mentally, emotionally, physically, and of course spiritually. So the first initiation for me was money. I don't come from a family that would have too much money. We always had what we needed, which I'm very grateful for. But I have learned throughout my childhood and teenage years that this is not what I would like to create. This is not how I would like to live. So the question was, how do I want to live? And whilst I was having all these jobs and the university, I was already questioning, how can I create more abundance in my life? And then the second initiation came through when my body completely collapsed in a way that I actually had to be on a special plan for my university. I had to give notice for all my jobs and my hustles, and I had to stay at home. So any physical activity would make my skin flare up, which got to the point that my eczema was so bad that I would have open wounds. It really wasn't nice. And unfortunately, I was really emotional, so I deleted all the pictures that were showing what I was going through, because I just couldn't cope with it. So this was the second part of my initiation, where I started to understand that the only way to get through this is to really go through this. And this is where I've learned that the biggest breakthrough happens when we allow ourselves to face the fears, to face ourselves, and to not avoid the inner work, but actually dive deep into it. And this is something what I'd like to ask you and invite you to think about, because every single one of us has a personal journey, has an area of our lives that we maybe struggle with. And I want to ask you, or invite you, take a pen and paper and just write down. I do like to journal. I do like to write things down, so you will hear this a lot. And this is the reason why. I believe when we write things down, we take it out of our mind. And when we put it on a piece of paper, there is a certain release energetically and mentally, because it becomes tangible. And so very often we think, oh yeah, this is the question, this is my answer, and we move on. But what happens is, it's still in our mind. No matter how many times we answer a question in our head, then we move on and nothing changes, because the energy is still stuck. So when we take a pen and paper and we write things down, we are releasing, we are channeling this stuck energy out of our system. So please take pen and paper and write down, what are your stories? What is your story, your initiation that you have been through and you haven't acknowledged it? When I look back, all those questions that I have been asking myself at the beginning, why me? What have I done? Why am I going through this horrible period of time? For a few months, I had to stay in bed. And even though I was very active, I used to love running. I was running 10K. I was just always on the go. And then I got to the point where I had to lay down, physically had to lay down and allow myself to just be, because if I would be active, everything would flare up, and I knew how horrible it would be. It would be all itching, it would be painful, and I would be just crying myself to sleep probably. So this part of the initiation was very important for me, because here I started to learn, how can I work with my emotions? And through all this work, I was guided and I was so blessed to meet the right people at the right time, as we all do, because the saying, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear, is just so true. And I was definitely ready. And I believe if you are going through your struggles and you are willing not to avoid it, but deep dive into it and resolve it so you can get on the other side, the teacher will appear in your life, the guide will appear in your life that can guide you through your struggles. So for me, there were two struggles. One was money, one was the financial struggle, and the second one was I was always overdoing it. I was not listening to myself, and I was totally not expressing myself. I was always pushing down who I was, and I was being who I thought I was supposed to be. And these two things were just the beginning of a much bigger story. So I would like to invite you to think about your story, your initiation, what has been going on in your life that has been taking you on a journey of self-discovery. And as soon as you write things down, try to think about how this influenced your life and who you have become right now. For me, it's the financial abundance and the freedom of time, because thanks to that initiation, I realized that it is not for me to have regular jobs that were destroying my soul, and I have tried many of them, I have to say. I realized for me it's important to express my innate gifts, which are channeling, guiding, and bringing through completely new perspectives and new energies, and help others to do the same, to step into our roles as a light workers and who we came here to be. So for me, this initiation has taken quite a long time, to the point where in 2020 I've been strongly guided to create a program of channeling, where I was taking hundreds of people on a journey to learn how to connect with themselves, with their higher selves, with their spirit team, and with the source itself. And it would never have happened if I wouldn't allow myself to go deep within and to understand that the self-expression and the authentic self wants to be expressed. So where has taken you, your initiation journey, how it influenced you, and what it wants to bring through? What parts or what have you learned throughout your journey that is now important to share with others? As I mentioned, for me, it is the self-expression. It is the freedom of expressing who we are. I'm not afraid to say I am different. I am very sensitive and I feel the energies. I am channeling and bringing energies through. It was very difficult for me to admit for a long time. But this has been my journey, this has been my lesson, and now it's something that I can share with you. So if you are feeling like you are too different and you don't know how to approach it, you don't know how to share it, and you feel like you always need to suppress part of yourself to fit into the environment that you are in, this is the time to understand that everything that you have been hiding actually wants to show up. And the biggest part of this initiation up until now is for me to understand and to see how many of us are hiding the gems that are needed in this world. So maybe on the same piece of paper you can write down, what are you hiding? What are you ashamed of? What you struggle to share with others, or maybe you struggle to explain what it is that you do, who you are, how you are working with others, with energy. And as you are writing these things down, you can maybe pause the video or get back to it later. Please take the time to do the work. This is not going away. And this video and the energy that I would like to share with you is to take you on a journey to understand that your light matters, that your gifts are needed in this world. But if you keep running away from them, if you keep pushing them away, it will just come back. And it will come back through your thoughts, through your feelings, through feeling not good enough, through this push and pull kind of energy where you want to bring it through, but then you don't want to show it to the world because maybe you are scared, which is completely understandable. So all these questions that I have shared with you, or maybe prompts to journal, please take your time, sit down, take a piece of paper and pen and write down the things that you have been hiding from, because exactly those things are your gifts. And you know how it is. Whatever triggers us is guiding us. Whatever we are afraid of, once we face that fear, there is our biggest strength. And I feel like the things that we are hiding the most are the most needed. And so I can see and feel, and I know this, how many times I was in this vicious circle of wanting to show up and in the same time really hiding, wanting to connect with people, but I was connecting with the wrong people because I was hiding parts of me. So I want to invite you, what parts of you are you hiding? Therefore, your kind of people, your tribe cannot find you. I will be always guiding you to be true to yourself, to be vulnerable and to be authentic, because I believe when we are vulnerable and honest with ourselves, that's when we are getting to know who we are, what we want, and how we can bring it to this world. So please remember that every part of your journey has been so very important, and it's been a gift for you to create the life that you desire. And when you take all these gifts and all these lessons and you start to embrace them, your gifts will show up in the way that you will know they need to be shared with the world. And I also need to say that we have such a unique journey. You know, my journey was about financial abundance, about freedom of being who I am, about self-expression, but your journey can be about something completely different. Maybe it is about losing weight, maybe it's about healing from a disease, maybe it's about your addiction that you overcame. Whatever it is, it's so personal, and that's why it's scary, because it's personal. It's so personal to you, it's so unique, but there are hundreds of thousands of people waiting for your story and for your gifts, for your face, for your voice, for your energy, and for your light. There is no one who can share the gifts and the energy or the knowledge and wisdom as you can. So please don't run away from this inner work. Sit down, go on a journey, dig deep, and allow yourself to accept every single part of your life. It's very important and very healing to accept that it all happened for a reason, and the reason is for you to share it with the world, to heal, to remind yourself that you are exactly where you are supposed to be, and that you are more than just good enough, and you are ready to be here, to be, I don't like to use it, but I can't find the other words, to be of service to your soul and to your gifts. I'll see you in the next video. If this resonates with you, please leave me a comment. Let me know how you find these questions, and let me know if it's easy for you to actually answer them and journal about it, or do you have a tendency to run away and think that it's okay, I just thought about it, I got it, I know it, I can leave it as that. Big hugs to all of you. See you in the next video, and I hope you will embrace your gifts and your light, because the whole world is waiting for your light.